Hello, welcome back to Delivery for Tony Stank, an MCU podcast. Let's go.
Are you Tony Stank?
So yes, welcome in one and all. Welcome in. Today, as you can see from the overlay, we're going to be talking about I Am Groot. Now, I Am Groot is 5 shorts that came out August 10th, all came out at once. And it's literally like minutes per kind of episode and stuff. So we're not going to spend too much time on them. It's going to be a relatively short episode, of course. But you know me, I'm probably going to ramble for a little bit longer. That's fine. I'm also not going to score it as I have done with the other TV shows and films, because it's so kind of, it is self-contained and it is just really kind of shorts and stuff. Now it does fit into the MCU though. There is like a timeline order for them that they've actually released. So the first one is I Am Groot, Groot's First Steps. Excuse me, which takes place after Guardians of the Galaxy, but before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And then the rest of them, so it's the little guy, Groots Pursuit, Groot Takes a Bath, and then Magnum Opus. They all take place in in order after each other there, after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so between Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Avengers Age of Ultron. So we'll go through it in that order. I will just kind of chat about each episode and kind of what happens. It's good fun. They are good fun little episodes. But yeah, we'll go into them a bit in more detail. And as I say, it won't be a very long one. We will kind of just quickly discuss them, and we'll go from there. We'll kind of have a laugh and enjoy it. And if you haven't watched them, please do. They're great fun. So let's get into it with the first episode, which is called I Am Groot, Groot's First Steps. So one of the first things you'll actually see that is different from the normal MCU timeline or the normal MCU projects is that it has a new title sequence. And again, if you've from the start of this podcast, you'll have seen our very own Corky made it very similar in that Groot kind of pops up and fast forwards the title scene and pops his face up. So that was a nice little touch. I do like that. We start off with Groot in his little pot, his little plant pot, from where, if you remember in Guardians of the Galaxy, our original Groot sacrificed himself, and they decide to plant him so that he can grow again. It's actually, sorry, I think canonically it's a different Groot. It's not the same Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's like an offseed of him, unintended. So we get to see him and how he kind of grows and what he gets up to, and he get pampered by these it looks like Star Wars kind of robots, like big balls with kind of got the buffers that come out and keep him nice and clean. Funnily enough, Vin Diesel is back to voice Groot. Again, it's just so weird to me that he is the voice of this talking tree, especially in this instance where he's like a kid, so his voice is all pitched up and stuff. Anyway, you wouldn't even notice that it's Vin Diesel. Probably anyone could voice him and still be and still give him the same sort of the same voice if they pitched it correctly and stuff. But it's great. It's cool that he's willing to do that, which is awesome. We see Groot go about his day eating like cheesy puffs, and he obviously gets a wee bit chunkier, or as he grows, his pot actually starts to kind of break, starts to bust out of it. And these little droid things bring out this little bonsai tree and leave poor old Groot shuddering away out of the glare from space. And yeah, he's he's not very happy about this, and decides to try and do something about it. And that something includes lobbing stuff at the bonsai tree. I just want to say as well, I've spoken about the VFX in Marvel films and TV shows recently, and you know, there's been a lot that's gone on behind the scenes. The sort of pressure that Marvel been putting their VFX artists under. It's a whole can of worms, and it's crap. It's terrible that they have been doing this to the VFX artists, who are one of the more important parts of films and TV shows that Marvel wants to do, and wants to push the envelope, because it can really take it out of you, take it out of the story, or out of the film or the TV show if the VFX are dodgy, which we have seen in some projects. But in this one, it's fantastic. I get they're shorts, they're literally, as I say, literally minutes long, but I think the VFX in this are fantastic, like incredible. They probably weren't rushed as such to get this out. They probably had a bit more time on their hands, which is great, and it shows. It shows the difference between the quality of work. So, basically, what I'm saying is, Marvel, please, please, please respect your VFX artists from now on, please, please. And I kind of hope that it kind of does get better, seeing as there's been more of a light shone on the issue. Anyway, we see Groot battling with this bonsai tree, and even menacingly growls when he stretches out and grabs a hold of it. His grimace here is like kind of evil, kind of, yeah, is again brilliantly animated. It's so fantastic. It really, really, truly is. I want to give a shout out to, of course, the score of this as well. There's a lot of classical music. Again, there's no dialogue at all. Well, there is dialogue, sorry, but it's restricted to "I am Groot," or his little grunts and stuff that he has, his little laughs and stuff as well, or in this at this part, his actual scream as he goes flying over to the bonsai tree and starts punching at it. But the score underlies everything fantastically. It's like it's a classical music. It almost invokes like your. There's a scene, I can't remember what space film it is. I don't think it's 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's the one that reminds you of Homer, you know, in The Simpsons, when he's in space and it's the do 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 do, and then he munches on the crisps or the chips. Reminds you of that. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. And there's something about classical music that just that does that. It lends itself to so much different things. So Groot manages to pull apart his bonsai tree, and the sap is bright green on the inside. Again, the animation of Groot messing about with his branch he's managed to pull off. Let's not say pull off, because that sounds a bit dodgy. And the use of the camera, so he comes towards the camera, and it's like blurred. The focus in the background is off. It's just purely on his face, and you see him, his eyes go wide as he gets pulled backwards by this bonsai tree. And again, the slow motion fall to the floor where both plant pots, the bonsai tree and also his, smash. Again, the visual effects in this, it's absolutely incredible. And we get the triumphant music play as Groot's feet pop out of the soil, the soil that he's kind of covered in from the plant pot breaking. And he does the kind of like baby thing where he tries to stand up and his back legs sort of wobble, and he kind of tries to get his balance. And then once he starts walking, his face is just priceless. His cheeky wee grin. He starts sprinting about the place, and very touchingly goes over to the bonsai tree, and when he sees that the bonsai tree is not responding, he covers it with a blanket and even offers it some of his cheesy puffs, which is a phenomenal. I love the little ending, and it ends with himself and the bonsai tree just looking out into the vastness of space. And that is the first episode. It's really as simple as that, and it's genuinely, I loved it. I thought it was such a cute little start to the series. Okay, so we then go into the next episode in the timeline, which again it doesn't make much of a difference. But the next one is the little guy, which you know I was saying there about how the VFX makes a massive difference when it's good, and this is visually stunning, absolutely stunning. So we start off with Groot on like a almost like Saharan desert kind of thing. Obviously, it's not Sahara because he's off world, and he uses wee sticks to create a kind of a like fort sort of thing. Takes him literally 5 minutes to make this like absolutely multi-storied palace of a kind of stick fort. It even has little wind chimes, which is so cute, and he's so proud of himself. But feels like kind of an earthquake of some sort, and we meet this creature who has like kind of like an elephant like tongue nose sort of thing, and starts basically just ripping the place apart with his wee nose and tongue. And yeah, poor Groot, his 5 minutes of work gets destroyed by this by this kind of birdie thing that takes its place at the top of this kind of palace of twigs before or being taken, presumably be eaten and killed by an even bigger bird. You know, the whole what's it called, the alpha predators and all that sort of stuff. And Groot does a toddler's kind of yell, like a tantrumy kind of thing, for 37 minutes, which is just, you know, if you've ever dealt with kids, you know this is extremely accurate. He lifts up one of the rocks beside where he is, and we see these like microscopic creatures, and we see them sort of close up, but we also get to see them from Groot's point of view as well. And again, they look phenomenal. You have like the little bits of dust that are kind of like floating about them. You know, like if you were to look down like a something kind of not far away, but like close up, you have like these little specks of like dust stuff that you otherwise wouldn't see. So again, the camera work and the VFX is absolutely fantastic. When Groot speaks, he of course he just says "I'm Groot," which is his dialogue. It like blows away like all their like bowls and stuff that they're holding, and he kind of does a little like dance that makes a massive earthquake for them, and lifts up like what looks to be one of their, I think it's like a building of theirs, and uses a toothpick before throwing it back in. And we see it from their point of view. We see the toothpick or their building come flying back, and the panic ensuing, while the massive Groot stands in the background. And then these little microscopic creatures start to lob like it's almost like the Australian thing, isn't it? Where they have like a stone and like a kind of almost a catapult, but they swing it around and round and round, like and like lob them at him. And when it hits his face, he's just got this really like childlike smile, because obviously it's not doing any damage whatsoever on him, which is so cute. But then he blows. He actually like blows straight into where they live, and we see the carnage ensues while he's like giddily claps his hands and laughs. The wee microscopic creatures then have lasers that start shooting at him, and this is when he actually starts to get hurt, and they actually start to get like massive laser cannons coming out of their primitive like building stuff, and they like sort of come out with these jetpacks and flying saucer things and start attacking him, and he actually gets hurt and actually ends up in the fetal position before letting out a beautiful toot, a little toot, a little fart, and this like leaf comes floating out of his booty, and lands on the lands with the microscopic creatures, who then start eating his fart, or start eating his leaf. So technically they're eating his poop, and they're like, it's obviously sort of there's like an old granny creature who's like sobbing in joy and like filling up the leaf into her little handbasket and stuff. It's absolutely surreal. It's absolutely surreal. But Groot seems ever so happy with himself and decides to go and get branches from a nearby tree. Again, so happy with himself, running towards a way to help them, and then all of a sudden we hear the crunch, and he's literally stood at them, and the kind of thing is that he's killed them all. He does the old, if you can't see it, it's not happened, and just slides the rock on top of them and just bolts, absolutely just bolts. We do kind of get like, not like a post credits, but we see the title card, I Am Groot, and then we see some of these microscopic creatures like pop their heads out of the footprint that's been made, and they're still munching on the leaves and stuff there. So it's all a happy ending. They obviously all didn't. I say a happy ending. It's not happy, but they all didn't die, thank God. And that is the end of the little guy. Literally like a 3-minute from the start of the actual episode to the end, like literally 3 minutes. But it's great fun. It's fantastic. It was a good little laugh. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay, and then the next one is Groots Pursuit, which is quite a scary kind of one. It's very scary. Where Groot's awoken by some noises on the ship. That makes him smash a glass of water while he tries to drink it, and the way that he like storms out into the corridor to try and find the source of noise is brilliant. He's like a proper like angry like stomping away, trying to find who's making this noise, and he straps like an Apple Watch that he finds to his head as a source of light while he's searching for this. So it's quite, like I say, it's quite horror like, almost like he's in pursuit, or is being pursued by something. We see on the ground there's a smashed like test tube with like rainbow liquid coming out of it as well. So Groot goes to investigate and ends up in the toilets. He actually even looks in the toilet just to check it's not there, and that ends with him having a little poopy while reading a wee book with Thanos's picture on the front. It's got Thanos, it's got like a banana type thing, and also the creature that was that stole his palace in the last episode. Once Groot's finished the toilet, he gets out, and we have this point of view from whatever it is that's stalking him, or from something in the shadows, and we see Groot leave the toilet with a bit of toilet paper stuck to his shoe. If you ever had that happen to yourself, you'll know it's not good. Groot gets like a sort of storage place, and moves about a couple of things, and you see the rainbow liquid on like our side moving about and stuff as well. Again, the VFX here is incredible. And he gets like a Russian doll type thing but it's like an alien, of course, and makes his way into the middle one. Before kind of seeing this sort of image thing flash in front of him, and a massive explosion reveals. We can see the sort of size difference between him as like tiny, and the explosion, the kind of destruction is made to the ship. It's obviously going through this like hangar type thing, where Groot kind of skulks his way into as well, and it leads him to like a walkway with this rainbow liquid, which kind of converges to create a little like a kind of liquid Groot, who his first words is I am Groot, and Groot storms up to him and says I am Groot, but he says it in like a way he's like no I'm Groot. Of course Groot's only language is he says I am Groot. It could literally be anything, but we can tell here that the context is no I'm Groot, you're not Groot. And they kind of stare off in this intense, like, they growl at each other, intense stare off sort of thing. That all of a sudden turns into a salsa dance. Again, the animation here is fantastic. The roll the shoulders and type the music from both sides. It kind of skips between both of them. And Groot does a little thing. Our Groot, we like puts his hands out and like just moves his neck and type the music. And he does like a wee floss, and they kind of, it's all in the hips sort of dancing. They have like a little dance off, and you can see as it goes on, they're both getting really involved in it and dance kind of together. They're not against each other anymore, and And so we get a bit of dialogue from this liquid Groot. It kind of tells him how to dance, or the dance steps, and becomes like massive, like octopus style creature, like made of liquid, rainbow liquid, before coming back into the Groot figure, and then back up again, and back down the Groot figure. And Groot's almost a bit, obviously a bit kind of taken aback by this. They dance together, one's leading, one's following, and Groot lets the liquid Groot do a little pirouette spin thing into a hatchway sort of thing, like an airlock sort of thing, and fires him off into space, and his parting words are, "I am Groot." So again, the context is there's only one Groot, and it's our Groot that we see here, and then he just does a little shimmy off to the side. That's the end of the episode. Again, there are a couple of minutes, but Groot's dancing, it's always something that's great fun to watch. If you remember the start of Guardians Volume 2, where we have the Guardians fighting off in the background, and we just follow Groot as he dances around to, I think, Mr. Blue Sky he dances to. It's always fantastic watching Groot dance, and yeah, it was a really subversive kind of episode, or a couple of minutes where they packed quite a lot in, like the horror side of it, and then of course the turn into dancing, and that's the end of Groots Pursuit. Okay, so we're on to the next episode, which is probably the most literal episode or episode title of the whole thing, which is just Groot Takes a Bath, where Groot is getting a little bit of R&R for himself, a little bit of nice rest and relaxation. He comes across like a kind of muddy, like puddle sort of thing, and decides that that it's going to be a good place to sit in. He makes it a jacuzzi by plonking some bits of mud on a couple of like steam jets that are nearby. That obviously starts bubbling things up. He even uses like a nearby like firefly sort of thing that comes past and squirts some of its juice into the pool to give it like a luminescent color, and drops in a couple of nearby like berries, which create like a bath bomb sort of thing. He then plonks on some of the mud on his face, on his head, and puts some cucumbers on his eyes, and enjoys just a little bit of relaxation time, a bit of chill time. And as the steam kind of goes away, we see that he's grown like leaves all over his body, and he could hardly even walk. When he notices the reflection of himself, though, he seems to like actually like it, and ends up making like give himself little haircuts and stuff. Like he thinks he's a poodle, but then the leaves start to drop away. So he runs back to the mud thing, chucks it on his face again, and makes a massive like masky type thing. It makes it look like a dolphin. Have like a mustache with like massive hair and muscles. And he does like sort of like really fast punch thing. His hair moves like in just such a funny way. There's like a nearby bird thing that can't sleep because of the noise he's making. He pretends he's a horse, which is fantastic. And then he actually, the last one he does is he like dress up in like a Cinderella type way, where he has like a big haircut and then like a kind of flowing ball gown sort of thing. And this creature then attacks him and starts laughing at him. He goes back to the mud bath thing and realizes that there's no mud there. So there is. It's just all dried now. He's used it all for creating his little haircuts and stuff. And it's something that I myself can know the feeling of. He grabs onto the last bits of hair and cuddles it, and ever since my hair pretty much left, I felt really sad by this episode. I knew exactly what he's going through. Groot looks up and sees a creature laughing at him, and decides that what he's going to do is actually he ends up basically cutting off all the creatures like shiny rainbow like hair, and makes himself a nice scarf that he then struts off to the the spaceship with. And again, that's the end of the episode. Literally like 3 minutes or so. But it's so fun. Like it like seeing him try the different haircuts and things like that as well, and getting sad as well. So it was just such a sad little thing. But yeah, it was great, fantastic fun. And once again, the VFX were absolutely spot on. And that's the end of Groot Takes a Bath. And then we're on the final I'm Groot episode, which is titled Magnum Opus. Of course, it is very fitting to what Groot is going to be doing. It starts off, or in fact, the song that goes throughout is the song "You Can Get It If You Really Want," which you'll know, if you'll have heard it at some point. Um, and Groot assorts a few different things, like an old Alf comic. He snips off a little bit of Rocket Raccoon's tail hair as well, pulls out a part of a computer, and gets a hold of some purple soap that is used by Drax, and even uses that as a little kind of skateboard thing. And yeah, basically does like a sort of finger painted drawing, just like a toddler would. Using the soap as coloring, using glue, using Rocket's tail. He even has one of Peter Quill's boots and uses that for something as well. One of the big things he does though is with the part of the computer, he actually explodes it in a room just for glitter, so you can get glitter on the picture that he's making. This one leaves a massive hole in the room in the middle of the room. So yeah, of course he uses a bit of gaffer tape just to try to hold it together. And this actually leads to the first time that we've really seen or heard another Guardians of the Galaxy member. We see Rocket Raccoon, and it is voiced by Bradley Cooper as well. Who comes in and worries that Groot's dead, but sees that he's just just in the middle of the room, and spots that Groot's used the ship's fuel rods. He's got the walls wet and on fire, and finds Drax soap. He also asks why there's like a bomb went off in here, and Groot explains in his own words, of course, that bomb did go off in here. But it gives him the old puppy dog eyes. He gives him the old I'm sorry. And hands him his Magnum Opus, his painting, or his sort of thing that he made, and it's a recreation of the end of Guardians Volume 1, where Groot is extended and saving the rest of the Guardians. And it's really cute. You see, obviously, the glitter that he used, which is the exploded like computer part. We see Rocket's tail kind of feathers, and the bit of purple that he used from like Drax's soap and stuff as well. And Rocket says that, you know, can't stay mad at you. Of course you can't stay mad at little Groot boy. He's such a little cutie. But Rocket gets sucked into like the vacuum of the middle of the room, the whole middle of the room. But Groot saves him. And that's it. That's the end of I Am Groot, the 5 episodes. So as I say, I mean, the 5 episodes, they're literally minutes each. And but it's good fun. It's a nice kind of break from a serialized kind of TV show, which again, in the films as well, can get a bit much. It was quite a nice little palate cleanser, I suppose. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great fun. As I said, I'm not going to rate it because it's not. It'd be hard to rate against the films and the TV shows and stuff as well, just purely from the amount of content that it has. But it was great fun. It was fantastic. And again, you know, there's 5 of them, literally 3 minutes each. For some reason, there's like a heap of credits, which is kind of weird. So like it looks like it's like 5 minutes long and it's like 2 minutes of credits. But yeah, good fun. If you haven't watched it, absolutely, I would say watch it. And it's so easy going. It's so fun. But yes, that is the end of the I Am Groot shorts. Let me know what you thought, of course. If you find us on Twitter at DeliveryMCU, or even on YouTube. If you're watching this, comment down below, and remember to like and subscribe, of course, as well. And yes, let us know what you thought. So that is the end of I Am Groot. The next episode was going to be She-Hulk Part 1, probably, which will be going through episodes 1 to 5 or 4, 5, 1 to 5 of She-Hulk, and Thor: Love and Thunder will be coming as well. So look out for that. But guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all, and take care. Goodbye. I'm Groot.
Are you Tony